Okay, let's go through some jointing repair for a classic rock wall. So in this case, I actually took out some jointing here, and I needed a channel for adding a light to this old wall, and I couldn't really get it in any other way. So what I'm going to do is grab some sand, and actually filled up some 5-gallon pails with 6 shovelfuls of sand exactly, so I know how I'm measuring it when I get it in the wheelbarrow. So I'm taking exactly half of that. So 3 shovelfuls of sand in the wheelbarrow and 1 shovelful of type 10 cement. So what we want to do is mix up some mortar that's going to match. And I know that this type of older mortar used a pretty rough sand, so that's why I chose the concrete sand. It's a little bit coarser, and I want the color to be pretty close. So the type 10 cement is commonly used, and it'll create more of that gray color as opposed to like a lighter white color we might get with some other mixes. And yeah, it also sort of matches the hardness a little bit more of this granite stone, which is why it's typically used for walls like this. So mix up the dry ingredients first. So once again, 3 shovelfuls of sand from my bucket there and 1 shovelful of cement. Make sure it's nice and mixed together, all gray, kind of like baking dry ingredients first. And then I'm going to add some water, so just a little bit to get the mix going, and then I'm just going to fine tune it from there until it gets to a good consistency. You don't want it soupy. You want to be able to pick it up and have it ball up like that. It actually ended up being just a little bit too wet, but if it's hot out, it's kind of nice to make sure it's on the wetter side as opposed to too dry. I wet down the wall as well so that it doesn't just suck in all the moisture. It'll actually dry out the mix a lot if the wall was dry. And even if the mix is a little bit too wet, we're going to press it in there anyway. And then we can just let it set up in the joint and come back and tool it off later. Basically, we can just get to it though. We're grabbing trowelfuls, using my hand as kind of like a, just like a platform to push the mud into the joint with. So I got a pretty wide little jointing tool here. Typically they're used for brickwork. So I like to trim the end down a little bit so that I can get into some more like the actual curvatures a little bit easier. And basically it's just a little paddle with a flat metal piece on there that's going to allow me to press the mortar into the joints. And we just want to get it jammed in there nice and tight, so we're kind of working it in there so there's no gaps. It's going to be nice and strong, and we want it to be wet enough that it's going to bond to everything in there. And we're sort of just roughly carving it to the contour as we go as well, knowing that we're going to definitely double back over it a couple times and fine-tune that kind of carving and contouring after a little bit here. So we just want to take our time, try not to make too much of a mess. I'm definitely going to want to spray down the stairs after. Any kind of mortar residue will definitely have a white remnant after we go if we don't spray it down and clean it off really good. I'm basically just working our way along, pressing it all in. And I'm going to be careful around the light here not to make too much of a mess on it. I could have taped it off as well, but I find that if I'm pretty careful and then just sponge it off right away, it usually stays relatively clean. And just once again using my hand as kind of a mortar holder. You can even ball it up a little bit and press the balls of mud into place. But yeah, just stacking it all in there as nice and neat as we can. So we're always trying to match what's existing. So this existing stonework has what we call like a V joint. So it actually sort of is raised in the center and then kind of tapers back towards the edges of the stone. So we're trying to sort of match that and carve that into the new jointing so that it looks seamless once it all dries. So there's a working time here where if it was really hot and the sun was on this, we might even want to cover it up just for some shade. But basically we're going to want to tool it off right when the mortar is just set up enough where when we're tooling it, it's not sort of sloughing away from the wall at all. We can kind of press it in and carve it, and it's going to stay put. But also it can just get a little bit too dry where we'll just be sort of taking chunks off of it and won't get the finish that we desire. So there's kind of a middle ground there. We might have to poke it a couple times with the tool once it's set up to find that moment where the mortar is just set up enough where it's going to hold its shape when we're playing with it. And kind of carving it, matching up to existing contours as best we can. Also, I'm sort of stripping away any excess mortar from the edge of the rock, so we're revealing the actual border of each stone. And then the sponge is just to get any of the mortar residue off of the edge of the stones as well. We don't want to sort of sponge the whole thing. It actually pulls the sand from the surface of the mortar so that you see it more if you touch the sponge to the actual joint line. And that could be something that we want to match. It's a really good way to get more of that aggregate look that might be in some existing mortars. But if the mortar is pretty smooth already, then we want to just make sure we smooth it off again. And we can basically just let it set up like this, make sure the sprinklers aren't on and are going to spray it. And overnight it should dry and we'll see what we got. Okay, this is the next day. Still see some of the moisture hanging on here. It was in the shade all night. And this is first thing in the morning, so it's definitely going to fade out a little bit more to a lighter gray. But it's more about the texture and how it matches up to the existing. There you can see a pretty seamless transition. Let me know what you think. See you next time.